name is Alison Solmes, and I am a Journeyperson Welder with the Maintenance Department at Nutrien Lanigan. Very generalized, I fix and put things back together that somebody's broken. Being that I'm at a mine, I work directly at the face of the cutting process. So I may do simple things like fixing a tooth on the front of the actual boring machine, to crawling inside the conveyor and having to fix or repair parts inside the conveyor. Typical workday would start with going into our elevator and going a mile underground. In itself, that sounds daunting for some people, but it's actually quite amazing when they open the cage doors and it's huge and it's wide open. We'd start our days with a stand-up meeting, just a little safety chat about what's going on for the day, what everybody's going to be doing, some keys to be watching out for. Load up our tools in Jeeps and drive anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes out to the bore. I compare it to I drive an hour to work every day and then drive an hour to get to work. And then work on whatever they've got going on. So some days I could be a welder, some days I could be part of the maintenance team, just helping take bolts out, put things back together. Our days typically seem to end early then. We work a 10-hour day, but it takes an hour to get back, unload all our tools, and then come back up in the cage at the end of the day. So I started welding in high school in my shop class. It was something that from the very first day I walked into the shop, it was one of the things I loved. I decided that this is what I wanted to do when I grow up, and I jumped out of high school and straight into welding, went and did trade through SIEC. At that time it was SIEC, now Sask Poly. Got my first year in, went out and worked, did my 4 years to get my ticket, because at the end of the day, nobody can ever take my ticket away from me. So it was go out, do it, work hard. Then had a moment of, I want to have a family. And I can't have a family, physically be pregnant and weld. So it was, now what am I going to do? I decided to go back to school and take a simple office administration class. It allowed me the opportunity to then be able to work in the time that I wanted to then have babies. Because I did that, I was able to walk into my company when I was ready to have kids and say, look, I have this other training, I can go do this. So I went and worked in assembly in our shop for a while. So I put everything together as opposed to welding it. I was putting the nuts and bolts on. I took about a 1-year stint in the safety department and worked directly with our safety department. Again, because I had the shop floor experience, I was able to move into that. I got bored in safety. Not that safety isn't important, but I got bored. I wanted to be back out on the shop floor. I wanted to be asking questions. I wanted to be involved, so moved into quality control, which allowed me to use every skill I had, which really pushed the limits of, I had to tell people they sucked, and that was hard, and question them and question what they were doing. And there was a time again where it was, okay, this was fun, but I miss welding. So position came open in my company to go back into the research and development department, which allowed me to not only weld, but start from scratch and be right involved in the design right through to the finished product, which gave me the skills to then become a supervisor, which I didn't think would be me. I am not born a natural leader, but being that it was a passion and something I enjoyed, I was able to do that. And then a posting came up for a job at a mine. And I thought, why not? You've done everything else, why not? Applied, got it, went into underground mining. I had never been underground before. I had never worked in an industry like that. Took a chance, and I'm really glad I did, because now I found my way back to welding, back to doing what I enjoy in an environment that is so different than anything I've worked in before. You're not in a shop, it's not clean, it's filthy, it's dirty, it's dusty, but it's a challenge. Every single day is something new. Anybody can do it, and it's been great. The most direct path is to go to a trades program. Sask Poly has some fantastic trades programs, but don't ever forget about the little community colleges. I did my first year of welding actually in Humboldt at Carleton Trail College, and they still offer the welding program there all these years later. Take the pre-employment class. The 9 months of in the classroom training is worth it. At the end of the day, you come out with what is considered your level 1 and level 2 with the Saskatchewan Apprenticeship Board. Then you can go out and get a job. The thing I like about the trades is that you are in school for 9 months, you're working. You're hitting the ground running, you're ready to go work. You will register with the Saskatchewan Apprenticeship Trades, and they do that right at school. They help you with that right there. So you get your certifications, you get enrolled, and once a year you'll go to school for 8 weeks, take your next level. You will be in school. Those 8 weeks are hard, they're challenging. It's a lot of stuff thrown at you in a very short time frame. But don't ever forget that you're doing this on a daily basis. You're not sitting in a classroom every day. You're there for 8 weeks. You get each level you advance to. Welding is still a 4-year program. It's 4 levels. At the end of your 4th level in school, you do a practical exam. So you actually have to show them you can weld. Then you do a written exam. And the written exam was hard. I won't lie to you, it is hard, it is challenging. Reach out to those that are in class with you, study together, question each other. That was way harder for me than the practical exam. And then you get that lovely piece of paper with a red sticker on it that says you're a Journeyperson Welder that is interprovincial regulated, and nobody's taking that away from you. That's yours forever. Anybody is a good fit to be a welder. Anybody is a good fit to be a tradesperson. Don't be afraid. Just if you think you enjoy it, go for it. The same as people say about becoming a teacher. It's no different for somebody becoming a welder. If you can put your feet on the ground every morning, you can do this job. I absolutely love that every day I get to pick up a super hot electrode that is really sending fire out the end of it and watch metal melt in front of me and make it into something that wasn't there before. The creativity comes from only what your mind limits you not to do. You can take any piece of raw metal and make it into something else. I like to make metal railings myself at home. I like that I can take a raw piece of material and make it into a fire pit, candle holders, anything you want can be made into something else. There's something very raw about metal and creating something out of it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. My high school shop teacher would constantly say that I couldn't do it, I couldn't do it, I couldn't do it. It challenged me every day to get up and prove to him I could. You can be and do anything you want. Just don't let anybody stop you. My biggest advice to anyone in an unrepresented field is talk to those around you. If you are a female, reach out and talk to the males even. They are going to tell you things that you didn't think about. They're going to be more than willing to have you there and work with them. If you are maybe of a different race, some cultures are women can't work, let alone women weld. There will be people that have taken that first step before you. Don't be afraid to call them up, to send them a message on any of your social medias. Put a profile up on LinkedIn so that people can match with you. There's great resources out there that if you don't find somebody that you particularly want, there's searches within Sask Poly, they'll set you up with the right people. There's searches within a company you're working at. Maybe your current bosses have a sister that's done something or a brother that's working in something. Just put yourself out there and ask the questions. There will always be resources available to you.